What is going on, everybody? Pitbull Pack Life. Let us get into some news. And this news that I'm talking about here is the same news that you get all the time when you're dealing with bullies. And I'm not talking human bullies, I'm talking about bully dogs. I'm talking about all the dogs that you guys know and love and have come to love, and the animals that when we see news articles like this, it's very clear the humans have done very bad things to endeavor a result such as what has happened in this particular story. Now, I want to talk about this, and I think we should decipher this because all you do is see on mainstream media and media in general, and The Guardian is absolutely mainstream media, right? You're talking about the propaganda pieces of the government agencies that are always putting out, oh, bullies are bad. They're the same people that always put out guns are bad, right? And how the guns are killing people when it's literally the humans that are out there pulling the triggers. Guns haven't killed one single person, right? Guns don't have legs. Guns aren't able to pull their own trigger. Guns don't do any of this. Now, when we are dealing with dogs of any caliber, of any breed, of any kind, people should realize that it's like FIFO, first in, first out. If you love your dog from the very beginning and you treat this dog with respect, you treat it like a human, you treat it like a part of the family, then you're never going to have news articles that pop up like this, because the problem is with news articles like this, you don't know if this is completely true or if this is part spin. And because we don't have any of the details over it, then everybody is simply trying to criminalize everybody that has a bulldog and any kind of bully whatsoever, whether it's a pit bull, a bulldog, any of the bully breeds. This is a problem that we're dealing with. So I don't want to put the blame on the dogs, because very, very clearly dogs don't do this by themselves. We had 10 pit bulls at one point. Sometimes the pit bulls would fight amongst themselves. Sometimes the fights were so violent that when the pit bulls are fighting each other, that's all they see is they see red and they see anger. And I have been in the middle of a pit bull fight where the dogs are fighting each other, but they do not fight me. I have been bitten over 100 times because I am willing to jump in the middle of a dog fight and stop my babies from hurting each other because they don't even know what they're doing. In the rare events that pit bulls actually fight, there's always a reason. They don't walk out of the room and all of a sudden just want to go kill somebody. They don't walk out of the room and decide they're going to hurt their owners. Now, this particular story, let's go over this and let's talk about this, because this comes out of The Guardian. Woman killed by her 2XL bully dogs at home in East London. Now, this is what it says is, victim who was in her 50s pronounced dead at scene in Horchurch and the animal seized. A woman has been fatally attacked by her 2XL bully dogs at her home in East London. The woman, who was in her 50s, was pronounced dead at the scene in Cornwall Close, Hornchurch, and the two registered dogs were safely seized, having been contained inside a room, a spokesman for the Metropolitan Police said. Armed police officers were among those who attended the woman's house just after 1 p.m. on Monday. A spokesman for the Met said police were called to Cornwall Close around 1:12 p.m. to reports of a woman attacked by a dog. The woman was treated by medics from London Ambulance Service, but sadly she was pronounced dead at the scene. Due to the threat posed, armed officers attended. After assessing the situation, officers were able to safely seize 2 dogs. Those were registered XL bully dogs and prior to officers' arrival had been contained inside a room in the house. They did not leave the house at any time during the incident. The family of the woman who was the owner of the dogs are being supported by officers. From 1 February, it became a criminal offense to own the XL bully breed in England and Wales without an exemption certificate. Anyone who owns one of the dogs must have had the animal neutered, have it microchipped, and keep it muzzled and on a lead in public, among other restrictions. The government's move to ban XL bullies followed a series of attacks on people. Footage of an XL bully dog attacking members of the public in the street in Birmingham, including an 11-year-old girl who sustained shoulder and arm injuries, prompted an outcry in September. In the same month, it was confirmed that Ian Price, 52, had died after being attacked by two dogs in Stonal, West Midlands, with police saying they believed the animals, both of which were killed, were XL bully dogs. In November 2021, 10-year-old Jack Liss was mauled to death by a 7-stone XL bully dog called Beast. The owner received a 3-year jail sentence. Okay, now let's talk about this whole incident right here. We have a 50-year-old woman, and it appears from this news article that this was not the primary owner of this dog, these two dogs. This was a family, and somehow they had left the old gal, the 50-year-old gal, in the house. And guys, 100% of the times, we need to blame the humans. The dogs didn't do anything that they were not agitated to do. Now, if you have two dogs and you love them, you're kind to them, and you are their people, they are never going to turn on you. This entire story, if this happened and this did happen, I am very, very sorry for the woman that died. I'm very, very sorry to her family. But the family needs to understand that this was the doing of their own hands. You cannot take animals into your house unless you know how to take care of them. The biggest thing people do not know how to do is they do not know how to love their animals. They get a dog and they think it's like their car, but they treat their car better than their dog, because sometimes people will chain these dogs outside. They will chain them in a place. They will leave them in a backyard, a small backyard, and they will never come and see them. They leave them out there and they let them become aggressive because these dogs don't understand human compassion and human love. Now, none of this is the dog's fault. The dogs didn't draw from a lottery and decide who the humans they wanted to love and who to keep. They came and they ended up with these people. And when these people are unlovable to their dogs, and I would venture to guess that not only were these people not good to their dogs and didn't love them, but my guess is the old lady was provoking them and doing stuff that really upset the dogs for the dogs to turn on the humans. And I went back to all the fights where I have been fighting, where I fought with my pit bulls and sustained injuries. And during these events, when these dogs are trying to hurt each other because they're angry, something has happened, now everyone's injured, everyone's hurt, now they're all going for blood, not a single time did they ever look at me and try to attack me. Not once, especially when I had 2 or 3 dogs that were fighting and I was in the middle fighting all the dogs. Never once did any of that pack ever look at me and try to attack me. Did I get bit? Yes, I got bit because I had my hands in dogs' mouths trying to get them to release, or I was sitting battling the dog that was getting hurt and I was fighting with that dog. But not a single time will these dogs turn on a human. So I've heard this now for 6 years on YouTube. Ever since we had pit bulls, everybody's like, oh, these dogs are going to turn on you. You're going to get what you deserve. And, these are uneducated people. These are people that are probably unloved in their own world, in their own lives. And they don't understand the compassion and the love that a dog has. A dog, it does not matter what breed. It does not matter what its disposition. If you love the dog, it's not going to turn on you and kill you. So what do we make of stories and articles like this where everybody is attacking the bully dogs? Everybody says, oh, the dogs are the problem. I'm going to go back to this and what I say, and I always said, the humans are 100% the problem. If you don't know how to get an animal and treat an animal and love an animal, you should never ever have an animal. Get a goldfish, right? You don't need to hug a goldfish. You don't need to treat it in love. You just need to feed it the right amount, and it should live with you for a long time. A dog is like a child. It requires attention. It requires food. It requires the love of a responsible adult who is willing to give the dog a good life. And if that isn't you, and you're only getting it as a prop or as something cool to have, or you think that just because you have a pit bull, you're going to be tough, or a dog in general, you're going to be tough. Look, you're not going to be tough, right? You're only as tough as you are, and your dog is going to be a representation of what you are. If you're an angry person that hates everybody and you don't love your dog, expect that your dog has become an angry dog and he might bite people, right? They don't know not to if you don't treat them right. These things should be loved, they should be hugged, they should be put together in your family and treated as a family member. And then you won't have incidents such as this where everybody wants to get rid of a breed of dog, but nobody looks at the actual problem, which is the humans. Have a good day. I'm out.